Magandang umaga mga kababayan. Good afternoon from California. This discussion comes at a crucial time as we are eagerly anticipating the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines amidst a renewed surge in COVID-19 cases. Let me say a few things about the breakneck speed in which the COVID-19 vaccines were rolled out. Apparently, because something like this has not been witnessed before, it has engendered doubt, anxiety, and cynicism for a lot of folks. But here's the deal. Besides the fact that the urgency of the situation warranted an unprecedented response, there are also other factors that made such rapid rollout possible. Among these factors are: one, unprecedented explosion in modern technology and expertise. We are in a golden age of technology, an era that has opened tremendous opportunities to seize the challenges of the future. It took one weekend to design the Moderna vaccine, 2 months to take it to NIH for phase 1 trials because of modern techniques in such fields as genome analytics, bioinformatics, and synthetic biology, among others. 2, elimination of the usual red tape. The companies that took the challenge to develop COVID-19 vaccines partnered with the government throughout the development process, specifically NIH, thus ensuring the elimination of red tape. No weeks or months pushing envelopes, waiting for approvals to move from one step to the next. Third, unprecedented funding. All told, the U.S. government forked in $9.2 billion to keep the project going, an amount roughly equal to the Philippine budget of 2020. Note that Pfizer did not even partake of this funding, opting instead to partner with BioNTech, which was funded by the German government. I should also mention that normally the biggest hurdle that startups face when trying to push a product through testing and approval is funding. Obviously, this was not the case with the COVID-19 vaccines. 4, familiarity with technology platforms. The vaccine platforms deployed in making the vaccines were not entirely new. In fact, Moderna has been researching mRNA vaccines as early as 1990. The other platforms have also been used in other vaccines and in gene therapy. 5th, testing of the vaccines according to FDA protocols was expedited actually by the raging pandemic itself. Unbeknownst to many, Phase 3 in the FDA's drug review process is probably the most arduous phase in the FDA's review process. The FDA requires thousands of volunteers to serve as test and control subjects. An aggravating issue in vaccine testing is that deliberately infecting test subjects cannot be done to prove the efficacy of a test vaccine. Therefore, the vaccine developers need to wait a long time for natural infection to set in and observe the difference in infection rates between vaccinated and unvaccinated placebo groups. In the case of COVID-19 vaccine tests, this was not an issue at all because of the raging pandemic. The abundance of clusters of infection in different parts of the world provided test groups that could be monitored in real time. For their phase 3 trials, Pfizer and Moderna were able to recruit more than 70,000 volunteers between them. J&J or Johnson & Johnson, more than 43,000 volunteers, more than enough to satisfy FDA requirements. 6, strategic manufacturing, planning, and execution. Industry was executing in parallel mode. As soon as animal experiments showed safety and efficacy, manufacturers started production. In normal times, manufacturers would wait for full approval even before starting to build infrastructure. That said, the world is facing issues that are hampering widespread deployment of the vaccines, among which are one, equity of access. The underserved sectors of the population are not getting their fair share of vaccines, even as developing countries are also struggling to get vaccines from the world's stockpile. Two, hesitancy and skepticism. For example, memories of the Dengvaxia disaster in the Philippines are keeping some people circumspect, and so with the preponderance of anti-vax campaigns in social media. Three, production bottleneck. Early on in the ramp up of production, the vaccines themselves were ready, but other hardware, such as ampules, stoppers, sealers, among others, were back ordered. 4. Effectivity in children. Even as we speak, testing among children are being done at a snail's pace. Among others, one significant reason, it appears, is that mothers are wary to enroll their kids in trials. Fifth, protection against variant strains. COVID-19 virus mutants are showing up all over the world, and some are raising concerns because they are showing signs of being more transmissible, more deadly, and or able to escape the immune system to some degree. Hopefully, before this gets blown or full-blown and usher in waves after waves of infection surges, we can stem the tide by getting most people vaccinated.